course, we are called as believers, not just prophets, but as believers. We are supposed to be emanating, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, we're supposed to be emanating the fragrance of God. So we definitely have to make sure, it is imperative that we as prophets, prophetic people, it is our responsibility to make sure that our vessel, our apothecary, is fly free. Yes. So that we will not find ourselves in a predicament where we are uttering or making those declarations from a contaminated place.
In Antioch,
yes,
the text says, and they taught the assembly, watch this, a whole year. They taught the assembly
a whole
year. Okay. That was the teaching ministry. 2 chapters later, in chapter 13, there was, it says, and now there were in Antioch apostles and teachers and prophets, etc. And they names, and then of course they consecrated Barnabas and Saul, by the way. But that waiting period was not a wasted period. That was the training and those gifts that we see 2 chapters later, whatever time period, came from those who were teachable, who were the acronym FAT, faithful, available, and teachable.
Can it affect other areas in our life?
Absolutely. It affects, not only does it affect how you show up. So whenever you get stuck in your stuff, you can't move forward. And being stuck in a situation that frustrates you is not going to serve you. So the key to, after you identify the stuff, is deciding whether or not you're going to stay stuck in the stuff. So I could have gotten so bent out of shape about my hair not doing what I thought it should have, could have, would have done, that I said, you know what, Kelly, I can't do the show today because my hair is tripping. Right? And that would have had a ripple effect on you, me, our reputation. We would have robbed the people who are hearing us and supporting this today and needing to hear a word of encouragement and liberation and help, for dealing with their stuff. They wouldn't have gotten it. Why? Because I didn't like the way my hair was. I mean,
come on.
Yeah, you've got to put stuff in the right perspective. Some stuff is not worth sweating over. I love the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, because what you realize is that it's all small stuff.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another conversation with Kelly. I am your host, Kelly Spencer, and I am so glad that you took this Sunday afternoon to just eavesdrop in on this conversation. I am excited that I get to have one of my dearest sisters on, and she has an important project coming out, and I don't want to spill the beans too soon, but welcome. Do me a favor, since you are eavesdropping, click the like button. Share this video. You just never know who could use it later on in their life as a piece of inspiration, hope, and encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe. That way you're notified whenever we do have a live or any type of special announcement or event. We have some awesome guests coming around the corner, and you don't want to miss it. So again, welcome. And lastly, please let me know who's watching. Holler back at me, and I will holler back at you. So just post in the comments who is watching, where you're watching from. Feel free to ask questions. We would love, again, to respond and see who is eavesdropping in. This conversation is a little bit different. It is definitely very appropriate for the time and season that we are in. Today, we're going to talk about a new movie that will be released this summer called Project Woman 2025. And if that kind of rings a bell, that's just letting you know that Project 2025 basically needs a lot of prayer. That's all I will say. I don't publicize my political, personal views that often, but I can say this one we all need to pray for. So, as I always do, I want to set the stage. We're going to basically be talking about Project 2025, the movie, Project Woman 2025. But just in case you just so happen to be not paying attention to the news and what's going on, let me bring you up to date on Project 2025. Basically, it is designed to impede on immigrant, trans, reproductive, and cultural rights. And I believe that there. But it's not new. It has been done since back in the biblical times. If you read the word back in Exodus chapter 1, the king said, in reference to the children of Israel, they are mighty, and I'm paraphrasing, they're mightier than we. So we need to really deal shrewdly with them, put some hard labor on them. Why? Because they did not want to compete or compare to the children of Israel, because they already knew the God that they served. They may not have admitted it, but was so powerful. They were so powerful. They said, we're going to show them who has more power. But in the end, God showed them, because guess what? The king told the midwives, when you go in and the children of Israel, the mother births a son, kill it. But the midwives did not. So long story short, read Exodus chapter 1. It's basically talking about Project 25, way back in the biblical times, that someone was trying to control reproductive rights, the rights of women, all of the above. But again, God is sovereign, he is just, and he knew that this would come down in the year 2025. So my book that I do want to highlight just so happened that I released it a couple of years ago, and I put it up, called Triple Delight Birthday. This particular book deals from a child's perspective, but definitely an adult can receive it and understand it as well, about love, diversity, and acceptance. So again, very, very timely. You can find it on Amazon.com, Triple Delight Birthday. And for those of you who did not know, it just so happened to have been Amazon bestseller. So it is definitely well worth it if you wanted a very basic, simplistic explanation of love, diversity, and acceptance. All right, so now let me bring my guest on. I cannot wait. I am super excited to introduce this awesome woman of God I've known, these many, many years.
Don't even count it.
I know. We go way back like Cadillac seats.
Yeah.
But no, her walk, oh my God, inspired me. And I'm much older, but just the lifestyle that she led praise and worship at my father in the ministries church. And when I tell you, it was not for show. She was truly trying to usher us in, and always pretty much did, into the presence of God. Miss LaShanna Moore is a practitioner for women's health. She's a consultant. She is the proud owner, or I guess I should say director extraordinaire of Holistically Well Center. She's an author, a playwright. And when I tell you the plays that she would produce for our creative arts ministry were off the chain. So, welcome, my dear sister LaShanna Moore.
Thank you, my Pastor Kelly. Thank you for having me here. Um, and I'm excited to just talk with you, my dear friend and sister, and
Yeah.
years that we have been connected. And I know that whoever tunes in via live or replay, I believe that they will enjoy our dialogue today. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, Jernese, welcome. Thanks for chiming in. Now, Shan, before we get started, I
Yes,
do want to say, just to pay homage, we talked about my spiritual father, Bishop Larry D. Leonard Sr., who is your daddy,
my daddy.
but I cannot not forget about Minister Dorothy Leonard, ex-
Absolutely.
example of a woman of excellence.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our
Yeah,
original woman of excellence, pioneer, trailblazer in women's ministry back in the 80s during a
yeah.
time where female ministers were not embraced,
Mm-hmm,
particularly in the
mm-hmm,
Baptist church, and Morning
mm-hmm,
Star, who made a platform and
mm-hmm.
provided that space for a lot of women. I remember, I was much younger then, but many years down the line, I remember being told that Morning Star was so ridiculed, and pastors would say, "Well, if y'all have lost your mind like Leonard and you're letting women preach, y'all can take them down to that church,"
Yes, yes,
And so,
yes,
just
yes,
encouraging a women's ministry, and mom was just that and more, a trailblazer, mentor, leader, supporter, and thankful that she has equipped me with everything I need. I am lacking nothing in this life. And
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
owe that to her womanhood and her excellence.
And I was never a part of the what I would say inner circle,
Yeah.
meaning talk to her every day. And I served, in the church weekly and all of that, young women of excellence. Never
Yeah.
had it was always a spiritual daughter, spiritual mother, business, that kind of relationship. But I watched and I gleaned so much from both bishop and mother. So you are definitely blessed.
Yes, God gave
None the
me
better for
the
them.
perfect parents for me. He gave me
Yeah,
the I would need. And I'm gleaning more
yes,
now today in my very adulthood than I ever have in life.
yes,
So many of the skill sets and teachings and just the
yes,
way that they parented and their uniqueness, it's all coming into full bloom now in life. If
yes,
there are
yes,
any listening, just know that some of the things that you may not find useful or valuable at the moment, just gather those nuggets, or maybe you just don't understand how it fits into the puzzle of your life. Just
right, right,
gather
right.
and respect through hearing, because I guarantee you that it will fulfill itself in due time. So I'm thankful for both of my
Yes,
parentals.
yes. And I'm thankful that I got to walk through the Young Women of Excellence with you, even though, again, I was a little
Yes.
bit older.
Yeah. That's when we truly connected,
Yes,
me to
yes.
know
Because
you
I
and
was on my own vow of chastity walk, and I had no mentor. I didn't know
oh
how to
yeah,
what to
yeah, yeah.
do. I didn't know how to what's the first, what do you do first, what do you do second, how do you
Yeah.
keep holding on? And like Bishop Carlton Pearson, you just yet holding on. I didn't have
Right,
that.
right.
And so it was just a blessing to surround myself with other like-minded women and younger,
Right,
and then got to the point where I was able to instill in them.
right.
So
Yeah.
I love you. I
And
do.
many times that's how mentorship happens. Every now and then you're placed in something and
Yeah,
it's on the job training. I have to echo the same, Pastor Kelly.
yeah, yeah.
given a position as like the worship leader was because I was the pastor's daughter.
Yes,
But
yes,
God had an overall purpose, and then just the way that the Holy Spirit mentored me through it, and then the spiritual growth that happens as a result of being in a position that God knew all along was designed for you. It gives you the grace and growth. And so I echo that my journey was quite similar in that
yes.
regard. Yeah.
Well, hello, Mama. Happy belated birthday. Glad you are listening in. That is Ebony's mom.
Oh, wow. Happy belated
Yeah.
birthday to you. I know you
Yeah.
don't know me. Happy belated birthday.
Well, tell me first,
Yes.
how did you get started in the arts? Was it that your parents took you to ballet or music, or
Well,
how did all that come to be?
performing arts started at the age of 4. My mother enrolled me in a dance class uh, honestly because I was very shy. I was a reticent, shy, insecure kid. I suffered with a spirit of fear as a kid.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
fearing everything. I was
yeah,
that had
yeah.
my head under the sheets at night, sweating and crying and praying. You know, I thought that monsters were in the closet, snakes were under the bed. I was very, very fearful, and so Mom started teaching me scriptures at a very young
Young
age.
age.
And then
Okay.
I was
Okay.
being an insecure kid. I was just behind. I was up on my mom all the time. Mom had to sing
Mm-hmm.
choir
Mm-hmm.
stand on her hip.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
her introduction for me to kind of acclimate to um, life and developing life skills was through the arts. She enrolled me in my first dance class at 4 years old. And again, just like we were talking about, being positioned in a place that you don't always have the language for at that time, that
Yeah.
was another
Yeah.
destiny defining moment that God used. And so it just grew from there. It helped me learn how to communicate. It gave me creative skills and helped me to gain a sense of independence. And so
Mm-hmm.
I went on for the rest of my young adulthood, um, engaged in performing arts. Of course, you know, integrating it at the church and creative arts, and then
Yes.
going
Yes.
for what I thought was going to be nursing ended up being, you know, dance and theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
ultimately now moving into the cinematic space with film. So it has just progressed as God has
Yes.
shifted things and allowed them to grow and evolve according to his time. But that's how it started.
And that's a key nugget for those parents out there that are listening. Get your child involved in
Yeah,
something that you may think, oh, I'm just going to put him or her in that, just to give them an outlet. You just never know. You may be untapping their gift.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You never,
And then if you
yeah,
find
and
out what the
oh,
gift is, cultivate it.
right, right. Parents have that gift and that blessing from God as their parent to assess and to discern and to even receive from God revelation on what kind of child it is that they're rearing. And so
Yes.
if the first activity doesn't fit, doesn't work, you
Try
know,
something
you,
else.
yeah, you shift and
Yeah.
try something different. But I think definitely involvement, it's twofold. It's creative and it's life skill set.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
building us holistically. So I'm thankful.
And
And it
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying it matters.
And there are and I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, this is just my personal opinion, but I think that there are people who are more introspective and
Hmm.
people who are more of an extrovert.
Hmm.
And so an extrovert has no problem saying, I want this, I don't like that,
Yeah.
I want to go here, I don't want to go there. But an
Yes.
introvert, you have to kind of pull it out of them.
Right.
And so
Have-
when you have either one, you have to instill that balance in them, because the
Right.
extrovert can end up being, a bully, or, just go to way to the, narcissistic side, you
Right.
know,
Yeah. Both personality traits have to be
cultivated.
sculpted and
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so that we can appreciate the benefits of both, but we also know how to operate. I think both personality traits should have some kind of skill set to be able
Yes.
to toggle in both of those worlds. Because there's a time to speak, there's a time to be quiet.
Yes.
I think we need both skill sets.
And for me, I guess um I was the more introvert,
Mm-hmm.
and so I needed an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, back in middle school, I think it was, the English teacher said, "Okay, we're going to learn about journaling." And of course, we like, I don't want to write. But when she said you could write anything, if you can imagine being anything, what would you like? And I said, I would like to be, and it just opened up something in me. And now that's the way I express.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It
Well,
tapped
you,
something. There are teachers that I remember to this day that were so pivotal for me. Oh
yes.
my God, I will never forget their influence. And the
Yes.
thing about children and when we're growing, we have an innate ability to sense how people feel about us. And there's nothing
Yeah.
like a teacher that's really engaged in you. They
Yeah,
want to,
they care.
yes,
Mhm.
they care. You never forget
Mhm.
those teachers.
That's right. That's right. And we don't have to be a professional teacher
That's
to
right.
do
Oh
the
God,
same thing.
an entire village of people who have sown seeds in us along the way.
Yes. Yes. Now, earlier you mentioned a word, big word, but you said holistically.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
walk us through, how do we get from creative arts into holistic health? And yeah, walk us through that
seemingly
journey.
seemingly two different industries. Well, they are not seemingly, they are two different industries. Well, I was operating full time in performing arts, theater, and music. I graduated college, and by this time I had mounted some plays through high
Mhm,
school and
mhm,
college,
mhm,
and I opened
mhm.
my full arts conservatory that was offering all of the discipline of arts. And I was preparing, but I was also still performing professionally on my own
Yes,
outside
yes.
conducting. Well, Pastor Kelly, I was preparing for a Canada tour, for this production that was touring Canada, and I'd hired a personal trainer to make sure that I was physically prepared for that. And
Mhm, mhm.
to make a long story short, I didn't ask questions about this trainer, and I ended up having my Achilles tendon ruptured. Later on, found out that this guy was not certified, licensed, or anything like that. His best friend, happened to be the owner of the gym, and he was allowing him to work out of the
To
gym.
work it.
And
Okay,
but that
okay.
changed my life completely. I had surgery, rehabbing, physical therapy, and I heard the voice of the Lord tell me not to fret because there was a silver lining and that He had me. And I didn't know what that meant. I was still teaching. I had a boot, and I was teaching dance classes with the boot, sitting in the chair. And the conservatory sustained itself for as long as it could. And my personal journey of rehabbing is what segued me into this industry. Number one, I had to lean on the fitness and the nutrition.
Mhm,
And so I went
mhm,
back to school.
mhm.
The holistic component came in 2016 when I relocated to LA and I had a really bad environmental breakout on my body. I was allergic to some of the minerals in the water there. So, again,
Wow.
God knows how and when to orchestrate,
Mhm,
insert, to
mhm,
and
mhm,
I
mhm.
got into holistic health at that time. Went back to school for it. This is a field I believe some formal education is necessary, because we people are giving us their vulnerability when it comes to their health, their bodies.
Right,
I
right,
personally
right.
was affected, by someone just casually handling me. And so that's where the holistic component came in, which is just a holistic meaning a full scope of tools, practices, skills that benefit our total being, mind, body, soul, spirit. It's less about the prescription of it, but it is not exclusive of the prescription.
Okay. Right.
Building the bridge between the two.
And isn't God awesome that He knew how to order
Clever.
your steps
So clever.
to get you?
So,
Because if He would have said, "Okay, Shan, you're going to have surgery and your career is going to change," would you have just willingly?
absolutely. Lord, send somebody. Choose another vessel who is willing.
That's right. That's right.
No, when He orders our steps because He has His hand on our lives, He
Yes.
orchestrates, calculates your steps in many ways. He doesn't always have to do it through tragedy or crisis.
Right.
Being God, the way that He is, He can and will use anything.
Yes.
Because He will receive the glory through it as a result of showing this transition, this transformation after scenario. And He's done that.
Yes.
Being in the film space, as I was working more in health and wellness, my creative mind was still there. And I started pondering on how I could move that work into the wellness space.
Yes.
Space requires a lot of reading and researching and critical thinking, and so I wanted to make sure that I was still using my creative brain. And cinematic arts started becoming a desire, praying on it. And my mom, as a matter of fact, Pastor Kelly, was the only person that I had discussed it with at the time that I'm
Right.
moving my art now into the cinematic space.
Right.
On her transition, it came back to mind, and I finally moved on it in 2020, and produced my first film, and established my company now, which is called Melanin Birthright Media. We are cinema with a conscience, and have been developing and growing in this new skill set. And here we are, 2025, and working on this second film project that we're discussing today, Project Woman 2025.
I
It's
love
called
it.
Rest, Restore, and Respond.
I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
And you just said three powerful words. You said rest. What's the second?
Restore.
Restore, and then respond.
Yes.
So tell us just your perspective. What is rest?
Rest it's not a linear word. Rest in essence it's a discipline and a gift of putting the entire body in a state of neutrality. And let me break that down even more. It is the ability to live in a settled body, to sit in a settled body, to lay down in a settled body, because you can rest, and it doesn't necessarily mean sleep. But rest is important because it's a natural regeneration of energy, of our skills, of our total well-being, but also as of our mental health and our emotions. We give so much. We contribute so much to to our churches, to our jobs, to the world in so many different ways. So to rest means that I am going to allow myself to accept the gift of being still in my body, in my soul, in my spirit. I'm going to rest.
And as a creative myself, I like to say my brain goes like this 24/7, just bop, 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 bop. And
Right.
there are times when I say, why am I grouchy? Why do I feel just like over overly tired, if that
Right.
makes sense? And it's because I have not gotten rest.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
one of
allowed
those,
ourselves
if I'm thinking of something, I'm in that zone, I can't have that broken, the time broken, because I feel like, and I probably could pick up the thought again, or have the same creative flow, but it's hard. So I will just push and push and push and push. I'll be up to 2 o'clock in the morning and have to get up at 4, knowing very well I could have just jotted some notes down at 12 and got a couple hours of sleep. But you're right; it's important because I get up, I'm grouchy, I'm foggy in the brain, I can't
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah,
We have
yeah,
a locomotor mechanism in us as women that will allow us to continue to run because we are made innately that way. And then if you are a black woman, it is sewn into the fabric of our DNA. This is something that we have inherited, that we have to now
yes,
be conscious of how to construct or reconstruct for
yeah,
ourselves. It's a beautiful thing, but it can also become a burdensome thing when we cannot find purpose in setting it to the side, or when we're feeling like,
yes,
which, and to no fault of any of us, when we often feel like we are not afforded the opportunity to stop or to pause
mhm,
or set
mhm,
something down. This call
mhm,
to rest through this film and what we have to share is going to be um, a vehicle that spurs that inspiration, provide women with those tools,
yeah,
especially navigating through the administrative changes, so that we're not living in fear, and not even living in a resistance that is defiant of ourselves, because we know what it means. I'm talking about
mhm,
Black
mhm,
now, what it means to live
mhm,
in a state of resistance in so many different scenarios and situations.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
This
mhm.
film is going to take a different twist on how we rest as women, and then how we rest as Black women. Uh,
Yes,
Restoration is necessary because we will have to have a response. So you were sharing earlier about Project 2025 and
yes,
wanting people to know what this film centers on. Project Woman 2025. It centers on the woman and how many of these initiatives in this administrative
mhm, mhm.
and these new administrative changes, how they affect us.
Affect us.
Uh,
Yes,
protect
yes.
health, social justice, democracy. What do we do?
Mhm,
How?
mhm,
What is our position? What is going to be our call to rest, to restore, and to,
mhm. Respond.
and that's going to look different for every woman as she
Yes,
journeys to watching the film. She's going. Each woman is going to find her own unique voice and divine assignment for what rest, restore, and respond looks like for her.
for her. Yes. I want to give a quick shout out to hello, Minister Desiree Battles.
Hey,
Hello, my sister, Jenny, my biological sister, is on watching. Yeah. Now we talked about rest, um, restore. You talked about that a little bit. Just go a little bit deeper. Like, what is that restoration? What does that do? Like, what's the benefit of restoration?
restoration is the byproduct of resting. It's the demonstration part in terms of what my energy level, clarity,
Yes,
skill sets
yes.
that are sharpened, directions that we take, guidelines that we
Mhm,
govern our decisions by.
mhm.
Restoration is the byproduct of resting so that we can do those things, which means that we're not moving on impulse. We're not
Yeah,
moving on
yes.
on fumes. We're not
Yes.
on
Yes.
ambition alone. We're not moving on anger. We're not
Mhm.
we're not moving on bitterness and offense.
Yes.
Not only
Yes.
have our bodies been restored and re-energized through resting, but our mind and our spirit have. And so we're going to take a different approach. We're going to be very cerebral about how we do what we do, because now it's almost like I have gone through a metamorphosis in the sense
There
of
you go. There
uh,
you go.
resting has allowed me to kind of cocoon for a while.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Bloom through restoration so that we can find our voice and our assignments of responding.
And what is the benefit of responding? Like, well, I think you touched on it a little bit, like not reacting impulsively in
Right,
anger, retaliation, but
right.
would you say responding in the way that God would have for us versus self?
Absolutely. I so for me, well, before I get there, I'll say that just like every woman is going to find her way of resting, she's going to find
Mhm,
how her body and her whole being responds to being restored. She's also
mhm, mhm,
find out what it means to respond, what her response is. My response is through navigating through this and just seeking God and spending quiet time as to what I am to do. One
mhm,
of my
mhm.
responses is this film to provide a cinematic experience for women to journey through these experiences, for us to have a place
Gotcha.
where we can funnel all of our cares, our worries, our anxieties, our concerns, our emotions, our anger through, and then hear some soundness, and we are creating it in a cinematic way that will draw us in, because that's the power of film. That's why I really love this art and this vehicle, is that we have a way to use it as an educational tool, uh, and
Yes.
create such cinematic dynamic around it. But
Yes.
one of my offerings in response is this film. And then my other response I have been seeking God about is the generation behind me. So I'm not a biological
Right.
mother,
Right.
but I am a mentor. I am a midwife. I am
Yes.
a auntie, a mother-like figure. And even outside of that parameter, there are girls coming behind me, just like I once was observing women in front of me, young
Right.
adult,
Right. Right.
adult women,
Right. Right.
and what are we passing down to them? How are we approaching where we are in a way that will establish something for them? You know, the 92% culture that came out of all of this upheaval have really been talking about rest, and I've been saying, let's be mindful of how rest looks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's not realistic for Black women to just sit and do nothing. But 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 through the conversation that you and I are having, each woman can seek God for her experience on rest, respond, restore. And so
Yes.
for me,
Yes.
I've been thinking about, okay, now what is my position for the young women that are coming behind me? Because
Yes.
my elders
Yes.
set a pathway, and it became my responsibility to elevate the pathway. Now I need to set a pathway. And these
Right.
girls that are coming
Right.
behind are for sure
Right.
going to elevate,
Right.
but I need to forge one for them. So those have been my two
The two. Okay. Okay.
gifts that God has downloaded in me in return, in response to responding.
I love it.
Thank you.
And you are absolutely right on it when you talk about when you have like a different approach of educating, you
Mhm.
know, sitting or having someone stand and say, you do this and you do that and you do this. It works in some settings
Yes.
and it will last that long. But How many people can say that they've seen a Tyler Perry play and can remember those nuggets that he left, just as funny as they could be, but he always leaves a teaching moment in
Absolutely.
everything that he does.
Yes. And we need
So
it. Yeah.
I
And it's
love it.
thank you.
And talking about Tyler Perry, tell us about this wonderful cast that we are going to have.
Oh yes. I'm so excited. I'm proud of these women. I am being surrounded by some great voices of our time in who have been positioned to work in various fields um that we're going to be covering for we can't address all of 2020 project 2025, and that wasn't even my
Of
burden
course. Right,
originally.
right.
But what stood out to me was reproductive care and all of the variables that fall under there.
Under there.
So democracy and what falls under that particular focal point. So these are physicians, they are mental health
Okay.
therapists, they
Okay.
are who work in the traditional and ownership space of what they do. So they have the experience and dynamic of navigating both of those worlds. And then they're women first. And so they're
Yeah.
going
Yes.
to join me in some really deep, engaging dialogue about what this means and how this affects us. And I see my camera's shifting around, and what
That's
we do about that. There are going to be some confessionals from your everyday women that are just sharing from their heart, unscripted, that we can hear, other people's thoughts and other women's thoughts and perspectives. Um, I have, I won't give it all away, but then I do have some wonderful that are a part of the film as well, who are just going to do what they do absolutely
the
great.
best.
Yeah, and if you all go to the website or any of my socials, you'll see the flyers. We have a flyer of the film, and then there's also a flyer with the cast on it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good. And I have the flyer, so whenever you want me to post it, just let me know.
Okay, excellent. Whenever you are ready to post it, we actually film this Saturday, so I am so excited.
Woo!
Yes, it's been a long time coming. I've been planning and working on this, doing pre-production since probably early fall of last year is when I started
Last
pre.
year. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what I think is unique?
Hmm.
You have professionals,
Yeah.
not just actors.
Oh yeah. That was
You,
important.
you know what I'm saying? It's not, I mean, you could definitely train the actor. Like what comes to mind is like Grey's Anatomy.
Oh yeah.
They actually say, okay, you hold the scalpel this way, and
Right.
this, you say the word this way. I mean, they
Yeah.
actually they're taught, but
Yes.
they're not a professional. They haven't gone to school. They haven't. They don't have the experience. But
Right.
these ladies, it sounds like you surrounded yourself with some powerful,
Yeah.
experienced professionals.
Real life.
I love it.
This
I'm gonna put.
is far too urgent. For there not to be authentic voices. There she is.
Yes,
Authentic voices speaking and helping us, connecting us, lifting us, elevating us,
I
uh,
love it.
inspiring us while educating us. And
Yes, yes.
well, Pastor Kelly, if I can, even though it is an editorial style film with
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
given, there is so much joy and celebration and goodness in this too. So view
Yeah.
the nice mesh and integration of so many wonderful emotions, so many emotions in general,
Mm-hmm,
a journey
mm-hmm.
on this cinematic ride.
Well, I tell you, this is I cannot wait.
Yes.
I cannot wait. I mean, it's rare. You have movies that, recreate something that happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like an autobiography of
Mm-hmm.
a famous person or situation. But it's rare that you are actually living in the time
Right.
that
Yeah.
is occurring. Like at this moment,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
are going back and forth with this Project 2025.
Yes.
And so I think it is very timely. I thank God that you obeyed and went forth, and I'm looking forward to being at the premiere
Yes. This
and being, yes.
we'll have a premiere screening, and if you are in the city of Houston, there will be an open invitation for you to come and join us and experience this film. The cast will be there, and we'll do just a little brief roundtable with them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there's entertainment, there's food. It is a great full experience. So we'll be
I
announcing
love it.
summer to be with us.
I love it. And this is etched in my brain. Go back to your creative arts ministry days. Do you remember you did a Resurrection Day play with Shayna that had
Yes.
the long, beautiful hair and
Yes.
how she actually untied her hair? I mean, just the little nuances that you add.
Oh,
Uh, that I can't wait.
thank you.
I cannot wait. Let's see. We have a couple of suggestions. I would love to. I was there at the last movie premiere. All right.
Who is
Well,
that?
yes, Minister Desiree. She
Oh,
says, yes, super excited for you.
thank you, sister. Thank you.
Yeah.
Was there.
And
It's
I,
a
again,
experience.
just encourage those who are listening. And you don't have to be necessarily female, I'm sure,
Oh
because
no,
you could be a father of a daughter, you could
absolutely.
be a brother,
Yeah.
an uncle, or godfather, grandfather of a female that may need to hear this message so that they can learn how to rest, be restored, and then respond appropriately
Right.
in the way God would have for them. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Well, now let's go back to your holistic center, which is called Holistically Well.
Yes.
What?
Holistically well. We are still working on the brick and mortar space. Honestly, I toggle back and forth with that because this
Uh-huh.
is very unpredictable.
Yes.
I am an older businesswoman now, meaning that I've been an entrepreneur for many, 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 many years, and I am not anxiously hopping out there and trying to and trying to acquire a space. But God has told me that it was a part of the plan, and we thought that we had one last year, and we had to pivot from that. So holistically well is our virtual hub right now,
Okay. Okay.
elected in-person services. Actually, we have an office in Pearland, and it's all about living, aging, and being well and whole. And this is fellas, this is specifically for women. It's for women 40 plus, and we are here to consult, to support, and to help women navigate life, hormone health, reproductive health, mental health, general well, and our spiritual enrichment.
And the key word you said was 40 plus.
That's right. That's our club, 40 plus.
Because emotions are a little bit different in your 40s than they are in the
Oh,
20s.
little things. Listen,
Hot flashes, night sweats.
we are
Uh,
graduating in a very complex way. So
yes.
we need sisterhood, the support, all of the
Yes.
skills, all of that
Yes.
to know what to do in this season.
I mean, nobody, we learned about, what is it? like to, be a woman when you first, have that wonderful experience that we all do. But they
Right.
didn't tell us about the gray hair. They didn't tell us about the thinning hair. They
Yeah.
didn't tell us about,
How
the
affect
1 minute you love your husband. And the next minute you want to say, God, are you ready for him?
emotion. I'm telling you. Yes. It's
Yes.
we have language for it now, thankfully. Thank
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
now, but it has definitely made me think about our mothers, our grandmothers,
Yes.
the elders, and that
Yes.
they didn't have language, because physicians aren't required to it is not a part of their learning or their curriculum to know about menopause. So you have to be separately trained as
Trained.
a physician for menopausal health. So even in the medical space, you can have a doctor who just doesn't get it. They don't understand what it is
Mhm,
you're sharing with
mhm,
them. And so
mhm.
I think about how our elders didn't have any of that
Right,
language, support,
right,
medical medical
right,
support. Oh my
right.
God, my heart goes out to them. I have so much grace. You know, I find myself now. I get it. I
Yes,
get it.
yes.
It's a
I mean,
real journey.
my mom, Miss Demetra, is listening. One day I was visiting and just so happened to, kind of sit on the couch, and she is probably rolling laughing. I got ready to get up. Oh my God. I screamed. And they were like, Richie, oh, you're just joking. I literally had tears in my eyes. It was
Mm-hmm,
that painful. And I'm
mm-hmm.
like, what in the world? And I have to, everywhere I go, I carry a pen and a piece of paper.
Yeah,
And I can walk from this room to the next room and go, what was I coming in here for?
the brain fog is real.
And then I have to go back to the first room, stand there a minute and go, okay, I was doing X, Y. Oh,
Right,
that's what I was going to
track
get.
your steps.
It's
You got to
it's the
retrace your steps.
look, the struggle is real.
Yeah, and the first thing that women need to know is that they're not by themselves. They're
Yes, yes,
they're not overthinking it. They're not um drumming this up, that
yes,
our shift
yes,
in hormones, metabolic health, mental
yes,
are really all taking a turn. They're
yes,
transitioning, and it affects every part of you. Your brain is going through perimenopause. Your nerve,
yes.
all of the hormones that we have are going through. We call it this rite of passage, but it doesn't feel like a graduation.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
It doesn't
mm-mm,
feel like
mm-mm.
something that we're excited about. Um, but Pastor Kelly, I was doing a study about the mental health component of perimenopause and how the suicide rate spiked. When they studied it, it was the age range of the woman in her perimenopausal season.
Really?
And when you are going through depression, when you have
Wow.
these spastic episodes of being excited, being tearful, being emotional, not wanting to be touched, frustrated, short tempered, short fuse, all of these things, when you're not feeling like yourself. And then if you do reach out
Right,
for help, for professional help, it's downplayed, or they want to prescribe.
right, right, right. Put you on medication. Yes.
And so this study, it's still an area that's being shared more. Um, that women who are toggling right between their 40s and mid 50s
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
experienced a spike in suicidal ideation.
Suicide. Wow.
You know, it's real. It is to be taken seriously. It is
Wow.
not taken lightly. Women are struggling. They're trying to figure it out.
Well, we who have been there and are there, we know it's real.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it's just trying to convince the other
Yeah.
part of the society that has not experienced it. And if you're a woman, keep living. You
Right.
will.
I do a podcast that includes men, because our men do need to be a part of the conversation. Like it's
Yes.
circles now. We
To
have
know
stuff
how to
to talk
support
about,
you.
but my husband has learned so much. He calls perimenopause Priscilla. Y'all, he a mess. Okay, my husband is a whole mess, but I have taken him on this journey with me because number one, listen, when we talk about that two becoming one flesh, folks ain't factored everything into that. I
Yeah.
mean, this
Yeah.
becoming one flesh, if I can use this analogy, that means that if he's going through a season of andropause for men,
Right.
he needs to
Right.
also understand this season of menopause,
Yes.
perimenopause.
Right.
And so I
Right.
on this journey with me so that he understands. And he's like, man, y'all go through a lot. I'm like, mm-hmm. You know, but he has been open to hearing. So I told him, I said, we're gonna have to do a podcast together because
Yes.
a lot of times they're trying to figure it out, and women are
And
trying to find language to explain it,
and
and
don't have the language.
yeah, and then based on the personality of
Yeah.
the guy, he doesn't really know what to do with that because men are fixers, and
Yeah.
perimenopause
Yeah.
guard is not something
Yeah.
to
You could fix.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to make sure that our men are part of this needed conversation.
Well, please tag me
Sure
and
will.
I will tag everybody. Because I'm here to tell you it is the struggle is real. And speaking of that, we have a couple of comments. Mama says, I will never forget, yeah, because she was there when I got ready to get up and that pain hit and I screamed and cried. And
Yeah.
my sister says, agreed, brain fog is definitely real. Jernisi said, it's real. The menopausal weight, yes, girl.
Yeah.
Things that used to salute is now at parade rest.
So, ladies, we do have some tools available. LaShannaMore.com. Go to my website. There's a blog
Yes. I'm going to
resource.
put your info up right there.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Kelly. There are videos. We have a support group. We have all the things.
And
So
tell us your website. I mean, they can see it there, but just to,
LaShannaMore.com. LaShanna with two N's, NNA. LaShanna,
yes.
living, aging, and being well and whole. And it's just one step at a time.
Yes. Wow. We are just so glad that you said yes to, first of all, to God many years ago, to tap into that creative side. And who would have ever thought that little shy girl
Right.
would now
It's a
have
miracle.
a center devoted to holistic health? And you two were with was it the ensemble theater?
Yes.
The ensemble theater. I mean, just
started with them in 1999.
I mean, nobody would have ever guessed you were shy.
Yeah.
Not that you were, you're the opposite, like just way outspoken, too outspoken. But your creativity is just awesome. Awesome.
That's why God has such a sense of humor.
Yeah, he does.
Who knew? And if you knew me during childhood or my developing days, and to see me now really is just
It's a testament to God. Yeah.
to the credit of God and his fatherhood, his fathering.
Yes.
Submission.
Yes. Well, I know we are getting ready to wrap things up. So I'm going to put your flyer up again. And just for those who tuned in a little bit late, this is Project Woman 2025. And the shooting starts when?
We're actually shooting this Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
But the film will be released this summer.
This summer,
We actually have a platform where you can go and see trailers of some of the other projects and our other movie, Black Bodice. So everything is on the website, LaShannamore.com. You can learn more about Melanin Birthright Media.
Yeah.
And we've chatted a little bit about women's health, and you can go onto the website and find that as well. And I'm also in the wellness real estate space now too, Pastor Kelly. So they can find that information on there as well. Just go and see all things wellness. It's
Yes.
it's on there.
And if they have a personal consultation that they would like to schedule with you, they can do that through the
Absolutely.
site as well.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
And I think I know I introduced her, but what is a certified? I mean, talk about your certification.
In
Uh, you're a certified practitioner.
Yes. Okay. So the wellness.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So
Yes.
I'm licensed and certified holistic health practitioner. Trinity School of Natural Health in Indiana is the school that I graduated from, and in holistic health, nutrition, and the cannabinoid system, and in herbalism. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
about 8 years now that I have added the whole
Wow.
to this.
Wow.
Yes.
Was
10 years
you? Oh, go
in
ahead.
health and wellness, and 8 years now adding holistic health. Yeah.
Holistic health. Okay. Wow. Well, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am. I am. You will forever be my sister.
Yes. Oh,
And we have just so many good memories of
yes.
working with YWOE, the Young Women of Excellence. You're my morning star.
Oh, yes.
But ma'am, I'm sincerely, it is a pleasure to always, whatever you do, you
Thank
know
you.
I'm a phone call away. There's
Thank you.
nothing too big, too major. If I can do it, count me in.
And you mean that, and I
I
appreciate it.
do. I do. I do. I do. We didn't talk about your major event that you had for human trafficking years ago.
Oh, yeah. I know we no
Yes, we talked. I
this
mean,
speaking of hot and all that good stuff. I had the car on a timer, so as we are talking, I am headed back over to the other side to
yes.
turn this AC back on. So that I'm sitting in the car also. I do apologize, everyone.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
My niece by marriage has a baby shower today, so I'm multitasking with that.
You
Um,
are
yes,
fine.
human trafficking. So being in this social justice and advocacy space, um, another part of what God has called work that God has called me to do, and I started doing by volunteering in the human trafficking space, 17 years ago.
It's been that
And
long.
yeah, I started 17 years ago. Now, when I did that gala, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what about
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the is that what you're talking about, the
Yeah.
human
Yeah.
trafficking?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was mid 2000s.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I
Okay.
was in the about 3 years by the time I did the gala, but we
Okay.
honored some women who have been notable and effective and instrumental in community and in mentorship with girls. And uh,
Mm-hmm.
again, this is just a space of missions, really missions work that God has called me to, and having the heart of um, His daughters, healing. Talk about holistic
Yes.
is really needed in this space, especially in the city of Houston.
Yes. Well, we definitely just want to end on a positive note, although that's a sensitive subject, but just know that she is an advocate as well. I did not want to not say that,
Thank you.
but you are just incredible, and I again consider it an honor. So again, whatever you need, I got you.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, you are welcome, ma'am. Well, hold on in the green room. And I just want to thank all of you who were eavesdropping in on the conversations. Thanks for your comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We have some things coming around the corner. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is true that I think that you would love to be a part of and hear. So subscribe so you will get the notifications. And as I always say, that I love you and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. So until next time, you all be blessed. God bless.